Miles's parents had always said the world outside was dangerous. They repeated it like a mantra. Strangers were untrustworthy, neighbors could not be relied on, and even other children carried hidden threats. They rarely let Miles out of their sight. As Halloween approached that year, 8-year-old Miles sat at the dinner table listening to the wind scratch branches against the house and dared to ask if he could go trick-or-treating. His mother's smile thinned. His father's gaze hardened over steepled fingers. "It's not safe," his mother, Helen, murmured. "You remember the little girl who disappeared?" She reached over to pat Miles's hand reassuringly, but her fingers were cold and stiff. Miles did remember. A neighborhood girl had vanished one Halloween night years ago, spirited away without a trace, as if swallowed by the dark. His parents never let him forget the lesson. Bad things happened outside. So the answer was an unwavering no. Walter's low voice cut off any further protest. The subject was closed. Miles lowered his eyes and pushed a pea across his plate, swallowing his disappointment in silence. That night, Miles lay awake in his bedroom, the house tomb quiet around him. Shadows from the bare oak tree outside danced on his walls. He could not stop thinking about Halloween, about how badly he wanted to be like other kids for once. As midnight neared, he finally began to drift off when tap, tap, tap. A soft sound came from inside the wall above his head. He froze. The tapping was gentle, but insistent, too deliberate to be the house settling. Holding his breath, Miles listened with every nerve on edge. After a pause, it came again. Tap, tap.
"Hello,"
said a small, muffled voice. Miles's heart thumped wildly. He almost cried out for his parents, but a deeper fear kept him silent. If this was not a dream, they might not believe him, or worse, the mysterious voice might fall silent before they heard it. Instead, he whispered toward the wall, "Hello."
"Please help me."
It sounded like a girl, very young and very frightened. Miles slid out of bed and pressed his ear to the cold wall. "Who are you?" he breathed. "Are you in there?"
"I am trapped. They locked me in."
Miles's skin prickled. "Who locked you in? Where?"
"Your parents. They are evil."
Miles stumbled back, shocked. His mouth went dry, and a cold sweat broke over his skin. Who could possibly be inside the walls of his house? His mind whirled through possibilities. A ghost, a prank, a forgotten child hidden away. The fear and desperation in that whisper felt undeniably real. He crept back into bed, heart pounding. Perhaps he was dreaming. He pulled the covers to his chin and lay awake until dawn, ears straining, but the voice did not speak again. By morning, he almost convinced himself he had imagined the whole thing. He told no one about the midnight whispers. Who would ever believe it? All through the morning, Miles drifted through his classes in a fog. Even his teacher noticed how jumpy and pale he was. At school that day, exhaustion made Miles an easy target for the class bully. When Brett, the biggest boy in class, snatched the little pumpkin Miles had been painting and smashed it on the ground, something in Miles snapped. With a sudden, wild fury not entirely his own, he shoved Brett at the top of the concrete steps outside the classroom. The older boy fell with a sickening crack, his leg breaking as he hit the pavement. Miles's stomach lurched at the sight. He had not meant to hurt him so badly. Horror and guilt swelled in his chest as he stared at Brett's crumpled form. Teachers rushed in amid screams, and Miles stood trembling at what he had done. He was suspended on the spot and sent home in disgrace. His parents collected him in grim silence, barely saying a word during the tense drive home. That night, as punishment, Walter dragged Miles down to the cold basement and locked him in the dark without a word. Helen watched from the top of the stairs, her face pale and unreadable. In the inky cellar, Miles's groping hands found a large iron grate bolted in the floor. A foul draft of air wafted up from beneath it, carrying the smell of damp earth. He wondered if something lived down there in the blackness, a rat, or something worse. A faint scratch or slither from below sent him stumbling back with a whimper. He huddled into a corner, knees to chest. He had never felt so utterly alone and afraid. Miles remained there for hours, wide awake, until a pale wedge of dawn light finally crept under the door. At daybreak, Helen quietly unlocked the cellar door. She avoided Miles's eyes as he emerged, shivering and exhausted. Her lips parted as if to speak, but no words came. Instead, she placed a gentle hand on his shoulder to steer him upstairs. Miles could not tell if her silence was meant as comfort or shame. That afternoon, while his parents were occupied in another room, Miles sat on his bed replaying the previous day's horrors in his mind. The house was eerily quiet. Then the now familiar tapping sound returned through his bedroom wall.
They hurt you, did they not? Now you see what they are like.
Miles's throat tightened. He pressed a palm flat to the wall. "Who are you?" he pleaded. "Why are you in there?"
My name is Tabitha. I'm your sister.
Miles's blood turned to ice. Sister. He had no sister. His parents always insisted he was their only child. For a fleeting moment, he recalled a distant memory. His mother sobbing late at night years ago. His father's angry whisper behind a closed door speaking a name Miles did not recognize. Had that been real? His head swam. Why would they lock you away?" he whispered.
They decided they did not want me. I was born wrong, they said. So they hid me in the dark and told everyone I died. Years ago, a girl from the neighborhood heard me through the wall and tried to help. Our parents killed her.
Miles clapped a hand over his mouth. He felt like he might be sick. As Tabitha's words sank in, all his parents' odd rules and secretive behavior suddenly made terrible sense. A cold fury coiled in his stomach.
They will never let me out. And if you tell anyone, they will do to you what they did to that girl. You are the only one who can help, Miles. Please.
Heart hammering, Miles knew she was right. If what she said was true, the real danger was inside his own home. He needed proof, something to banish the last sliver of doubt. That evening, while his parents were busy in the kitchen, he slipped out the back door into the yard. Under the gnarled oak tree in the far corner, he dug where the soil looked a bit loose. His fingers hit something hard. With trembling hands, Miles unearthed a tiny, dirt-caked skull. The sight of it made his vision swim. Horror and anger surged through him in equal measure. Later that night at dinner, Miles's hands did not tremble as he quietly fetched the box of rat poison from beneath the sink. His father had always kept it there for pests. He stirred a scoop of the white powder into the simmering beef stew when his mother was not looking, then sat down at the table with his heart pounding in his ears. Walter was the first to falter. His words slurred mid-sentence, confusion flooding his eyes as his face turned ashen. He gurgled, clutching at his throat, and collapsed from his chair. Helen realized too late that something was terribly wrong. She staggered to her feet, knocking over her glass. "What did you—" she began, but dizziness overtook her. She fell to her knees, crawling toward Miles as her limbs gave out. Miles watched, numb and silent, as his parents' lives ebbed away on the dining room floor. Helen's wide, panicked eyes found her son. "Do not let her out." A final spasm racked her body. Then she lay still beside Walter. For a long moment, all was silent except the tick of the kitchen clock. Miles stood amid the shattered dishes and spilled stew, shaking all over. He had done it. The people he had loved and feared in equal measure were gone. A small, incredulous sob escaped his throat.
Clever boy.
Miles whirled around to see his sister emerging from the open doorway behind the old grandfather clock. The narrow door hung ajar, revealing a black space beyond. Tabitha crawled out on all fours, gaunt and deathly pale, her bones jutting sharp beneath sallow skin. Tangled black hair hung over her face in filthy ropes. The air around her reeked of rot and neglect. In the dim light, her eyes glinted, feral and hungry, as they fixed on Miles. She moved with a jerky, insect-like gait, as if she had become more creature than human in the years of confinement. A spider creeping out of its lair. "Tabitha," Miles breathed. At the sound of her name, the girl slowly rose to her feet. Her joints crackled audibly after years of disuse, but she stood tall, a head taller than Miles and horribly thin. Her lips curled into a facsimile of a smile. "Little brother," she sing-songed, almost gently. Tabitha drifted past him into the dining room, her bare feet stepping in the puddle of stew. She beheld the motionless bodies of their parents with wide-eyed glee and let out a small sigh of delight. Gently, almost playfully, she nudged Walter's limp hand with her toe. "All these years," she whispered, "and now they are finally gone." A soft giggle bubbled up from her throat. A sob hitched in Miles's throat. He had wanted to save Tabitha, to rescue his sister from a terrible fate, but now that she stood before him, he realized the sister he had imagined might never have existed at all. This pale, feral girl was a stranger shaped by years of abuse. Looking at the broken bodies on the floor and the unhinged joy on Tabitha's face, Miles felt pity and terror war inside his heart. "It is over," he managed to whisper. "They cannot hurt you anymore. We should leave this place." Tabitha's head snapped toward him. Her eyes, rimmed in red, narrowed. "Leave," she echoed, as if the word were foreign. She stepped toward Miles, and he instinctively backed away. "We can find help," he said in a voice barely above a whisper. "People who will take care of us, of you." Tabitha bared her teeth. "No one is ever locking me up again," she growled. "We are staying here. You and me. We will be a family, like we were always meant to be." Miles realized with growing dread that Tabitha had no intention of hiding or fleeing. After years in darkness, all she wanted was to claim the life she had been denied, at any cost. "Tabitha," he said carefully, "this is not right. It is not safe here." Her face twisted. "You sound just like them." She stalked closer, blood-stained fingers twitching at her sides. "I will not let you ruin this. You are my brother. You belong with me. And if you will not stay," her voice dropped to a venomous hiss, "then you will die too." With a guttural snarl, Tabitha lunged at Miles. He dodged aside at the last instant, her claw-like nails swiping the air inches from his face. Heart pounding, Miles turned and ran. He raced to the one place in the house he knew she would have trouble with, down into the lightless basement. His socked feet thudded on the steps. Tabitha was fast, thundering down the stairs after him, her breath rasping with rage. As he reached the cellar floor, Miles veered behind a central support beam at the last second. Tabitha, blinded by fury, charged forward, directly onto the old iron grate in the floor. The rusted bolts gave way with a shriek. With a horrifying howl, Tabitha plunged through the collapsing metal into the gaping pit beneath. Miles edged forward, peering down. Far below, Tabitha had landed in a crumpled heap. She let out a wet groan of pain, stirring amid the darkness. The fall had surely broken bones, yet still she began to move, dragging her limbs as if to climb.
"Miles,
Her voice floated up, broken and pitiful.
help me, please."
Hot tears blurred Miles's vision. He wanted to help her. This wretched creature was his sister after all. But he remembered the murderous fury in her eyes just moments ago, and the bodies of mother and father cooling on the floor above. His whole world was shattered and soaked in blood. A sob tore from him as he realized he could not save Tabitha, not without losing himself. "I am sorry," he whispered. Then he grasped the edge of the heavy grate and dragged it back over the pit, blocking out the sight of Tabitha's pleading arm. She shrieked as the light disappeared. Miles heaped a nearby crate of tools on top for good measure. From below came a howl of rage and betrayal that made his blood run cold. Miles staggered up the basement stairs, legs barely supporting him. Tabitha's screams echoed off the walls, a frenzy of promises and curses that he knew would haunt him forever. Just as he reached the kitchen, her voice rose clear and furious from the depths. "I will escape again." Do you hear me, Miles? I will find you. Miles choked back a sob. He stumbled out the front door of that accursed house into the cool morning air. The early light and crisp autumn breeze did nothing to dispel the chill in his bones. Even as he fled down the porch steps, her final promise followed him, a delicate whisper threading through the dawn like a spider's silk, unseen and unbroken, forever binding brother to sister.
If you enjoyed this video, please do not forget to like, comment, or share this video with your friends. Subscribe to our channel to hear more stories like this one.